Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Team Dinner. My name is Jack Maloney, and my guest today is Coach John DiBiaso. Coach, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
And today we are eating sandwiches from All Star Sandwich Bar, and that covers the announcements. So, Coach, I got to ask you. I think the name of the show is Team Dinner.
Yeah.
As a seasoned football coach. Yeah. A lot of team dinners, right? A lot of night before, getting the team together.
Oh, yeah.
What, in your opinion, is the best meal to eat the night before a football game for a player?
For a player, you want to carb up.
Yeah.
So pasta, is the standard meal, and that's been forever. And I think a lot of the colleges still do that. We do that, but I was introduced because I have quite a few recently, a lot of Haitian Creole kids, and some of the mothers would make rice.
Yep.
Haitian rice is to kill for. If I had one meal, I would have Haitian rice. When I tell you it is mouth-watering, and I don't know the spices they put in. They call it dirty rice, I think. And they put different spices in and different types of meat or chicken. It is to kill for. And I had two players, one that's at Notre Dame now, Gerby Lambert, and his mother's name's Gerlin. And I have a boy that's at BC now, Max Tucker. His mother is Colleen Tucker. And they've made rice for me the last couple of years, and I am telling you, it's mouth-watering. And it's full of carbs.
Yeah.
It's full of carbs.
So that's the ideal night before. Right? Not too heavy.
You don't want to eat too heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to have some, you definitely want to hydrate. So you drink a lot of water. You try to drink a lot of water or Gatorade. No soda.
Yeah.
You don't want to have milk. But soda is bad for you. Gatorade, water, hydrate, maybe a piece of fruit. Bananas full of potassium. Yeah. Potatoes are good. Baked potatoes full of potassium. The potassium actually prevents cramping.
Yep.
So you want to have that potassium. And you know how you had the pickle here?
Yeah.
You drink pickle juice.
Yeah. Salt, right? Good for you.
That pickle juice, for some reason, it prevents cramps.
Uh-huh. And have you found that over your coaching career, they're more mindful of their diet? Kids, like, 'cause I remember when I was a kid, no one, this was not that long ago, but 20 years ago, you could eat whatever you wanted. I
had an Italian sub and a slice.
Yeah, exactly. I used to eat a chocolate donut before football games and a powdered sugar donut before baseball game. That would all I eat. And the coach would be on the bus and that makes sense, and keep walking. No one cared.
So you got a sugar high and then you crash.
No one said anything.
They're
definitely
more conscious.
Yeah.
Definitely more conscious. Fitness and health, it's a big business now.
Yeah.
Those energy bars they have for them and different things, different energy drinks, protein drinks. It's a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
So you can't help but become more conscious of that.
No. All right. Haitian rice, dirty rice.
Oh, my God. I tell you, if I get it again, I'll bring it.
Yeah.
I tell both of them they should patent it and start a business because they'd be rich.
Yeah. All right, and then here's a question sort of related, right? Yep. Which is, you have a night off, you and your wife or whatever, and you're going out. What kind of food do you like to eat? And I'm going to say you can't say Italian for the purpose of this.
My favorite meal.
Yes.
If I tell my wife, if I knew it was the last day of my life.
Yeah.
Now you can't get mad at me because it's not Boston.
It's fine.
We go down to Rhode Island in the summer. We have a cottage. George's of Galilee is on the pier where the ferry goes to Block Island. Mm-hmm. They have the best seafood. And we go down on Saturday night after the game, and we sit at the bar. We get a double IPA, and the mussels.
Yeah.
They're apple bacon mussels with garlic bread.
So there's little chunks of bacon in the broth.
In the broth.
Yeah.
And it has the maple syrup, like you said, and the apple, and then they give you a big loaf of garlic bread to ooch it up after that.
Yeah.
Then I have calamari, spicy calamari, and I finish it off with a flounder.
That's pretty good. That's it.
That's
All right.
not Italian.
That's. Would that, if I had not excluded Italian, would that have been your meal as well?
That's my favorite.
Yeah. I try, when I ask that question, I try to a lot of people just pick the kind of the thing. If you have someone in here who does is an Italian food chef, you just can't say because they'll just say the thing that they know, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
try to
believe me, that's our favorite.
I try to knock. I love, that's a great recommendation. What's the restaurant?
George's of Galilee.
George's of Galilee.
You watch the ferry come in from Block Island.
Yeah.
You see all the people getting off right out the window. You're having your double IPA. And the best part about it is we go down in the fall, so it's off season. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
We go sit at the bar. They treat you like a king.
Yeah.
Watch the SEC games on the big screen right in front of you. Sit. You have your beer. I'm a big brewery person, my wife and I. And the double IPA there is Captain's Daughter, it's called. And
Is it?
Again.
It's from Rhode Island, Captain's Daughter?
Westerly, Rhode Island, the Gray Sail Brewery. If you're ever down in that area, go to Westerly, the Gray Sail. It's the best brewery. I mean, we have tons of breweries around here. Tons around here.
What I'm not quite a big beer guy. Is there any around here that I know there's Nightshade, right?
Well, Night Shift's in Everett.
Night Shift,
there's Aeronaut in Everett. There's Bones Up in Everett. There's Beer Moose in Everett. Then there's a ton in Somerville.
Yeah.
There's Trillion over in Boston. They're all over the place. They're all Lord Hobo.
Lord Hobo.
The breweries. It's just for as we got older, we just see it as more calm type place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can go have a conversation there. The TVs aren't blaring. People aren't yelling,
Yeah.
So we like the brewery scene.
Yeah. Do you have one in Everett that's your favorite?
Because we're not in Everett as much now.
Yeah.
So Night Shift is good, but it's huge.
Yeah.
You go in there and there's 500 people. It's kind of loud.
Yeah, it's loud.
We go to there's one down the line down across from the casino.
Yep.
It's an industrial area. It's called Aeronaut.
Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Bones Up. Tiny.
Yeah.
We like the smaller ones better.
Me too.
You sit. You might get a slice of pizza there or something, and you just relax.
Yeah. I love that.
Unwind.
That's right. I mean, it's so now this time of the year. I know you don't coach basketball anymore, right? Do you? You used to coach basketball. So this
36 years.
Yeah. This is do you miss that at all?
I miss it, but my wife and I, she was the basketball cheerleader coach. I was the basketball coach. This ride was very familiar to me because we'd go right down Cambridge Street to Ringe.
Yeah.
They were our big rivals.
Yeah.
So I was a little familiar with the area.
Yeah.
And it just, Tuesday night, every Friday night, you get to be 68 years old.
Yeah.
It takes a toll because we go right from August to March.
Yep.
Football to basketball.
Yeah.
So, I enjoy the little time off now.
Yeah, I bet. And you were also the athletic director, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's a lot, right? You're talking
It was a lot. We were out almost every night.
Yeah, so. I can only imagine. So I hope you are enjoying maybe your winters for now.
I do. I go to the
years,
CM basketball games. My wife does. We go to some of the hockey games. But it's still not that pressure.
Yeah.
You don't have practice every afternoon. And have to worry about weekends.
Yeah. Yeah. And how have you found just life? I know at a big public school to a Catholic school. Have you enjoyed? I know there's, I think, more. I mean, there's people from all different towns, right? At Catholic Memorial, so you're wider kind of.
It's almost like downsizing as you get older.
Yeah.
Because Everett had 2,200 students. We have 440.
Yeah.
So it's much smaller.
Yeah.
It's almost like an elementary school.
Right.
If you look at the physical
Yeah.
plant. So it's easy. You know everybody's name.
Yeah.
And it's just. Are you a basketball guy?
I enjoy it. I'm far from an expert.
Okay.
I didn't play it. No, I didn't play it.
Okay, but you understand basketball.
Yeah.
When we were at Everett, it was like we were in our lives were a full court press, man to man, all over the floor.
Yeah.
At CM, our lives were sitting in a 2-3 zone, relax.
Yeah.
That's a good metaphor.
That is a great metaphor. Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine, and I imagine too, right? At Everett, your father was the coach. Is that right?
He was the AD.
He was the AD. So, and then your son now, I know he's not coaching there. I know he's gone to coach.
He coaches at BC.
At BC, right?
our kids grew up there. My daughter was a cheerleader. My wife was the cheerleader coach. My son played football, basketball, baseball.
Yeah.
Our kids did their homework on the bus when they were little.
Yeah.
To the basketball games. They'd be doing their homework. And, they get home 10 o'clock. They're like 7 and 9 years old. Like everybody say, they're abusing those poor kids. But, they grew up with us.
Yeah.
So it was a good life.
Yeah, I think that's important, right? They're seeing you be passionate about something, right? They're seeing you excited about something, committed to something. I think that's all that kids want, right? They just want to be there.
My son was up my fanny. My daughter was up my wife's fanny to the point where, we would. I remember it like it was yesterday. After football, go by Richie's Slush. Do you know?
Yeah,
Richie's?
of course. Yeah, I go there, take my wife there.
You got to eat your slush before you get home, so Mom doesn't see it.
Yeah.
You come home, you're all red around it from the cherry slush. And you go,
Yeah.
My daughter goes, "You didn't even get me one."
Yeah.
So there's good memories.
I can imagine. It must be hard to leave that behind at some.
It was hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was very hard because I grew up there and I lived there my whole life, and we had been married 30 plus years. Our kids grew up there. They didn't know any house besides the house that they grew up in, and they're moving on. They have their own lives. So my wife and I a change was good for us.
Yeah,
and it was.
I understand.
It was a good change.
Yeah. Well, and you found success now at your new job, right? I think
I've been fortunate. I get great kids and things, and I tell people I brought my assistant coach of 43 years, Mike Milo, with me from Everett. He's my line coach. I brought my trainer from Everett, who played for me at Everett High, Jeff Saluk. He's the trainer at CM. And I brought my most important partner, my wife, with me.
Yeah.
She runs the academic support.
Oh, that's nice.
So the four of us, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
I've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's great. And I listen, I could only imagine, right? But I understand, right, that kind of what you're feeling, right? Your kids are moving out, and you never want to stop challenging yourself, right?
Right.
Not that maybe
change
ever
is sometimes good.
Yeah.
I had been there 39 years.
Yeah.
That's more than probably.
No, I'm 38. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had been there 39 years, and people laugh. I say, geez, I remember when, the early 80s when I met my wife there, and she was a teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the people weren't born then. Most of the parents of the kids that we have weren't born then. I said, yeah, I was teaching then.
You must have coached fathers and sons, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sign that it's a...
Pretty soon I'll be coaching grandfathers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And how has, if we just look at, we don't have to talk about Everett specifically, but, how has high school football in Massachusetts evolved, in your time here? Do you think that the game is much different, or do you think it's same as it's always been?
Well, the fundamentals are still the same. You still have to block. You still have to tackle.
Yeah.
But games, it's become much more spread out.
Yeah.
More
passing?
Much more passing, wide open offenses. And believe it or not, a lot of it has to do with the fields.
Yeah.
Because now we all have turf fields.
Yeah.
So, number one, they're faster.
Yeah.
Number two, you're not handicapped by weather.
Right.
Before, if you played in the rain, you couldn't throw a pass. You better run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you just dry off the ball, you put it back in, you can throw passes in the rain. It's like, just like it's sunny out.
Yeah, not 6-inch puddle out
there.
there.
No. You think of those years, like you played in it was snow, it was ice. I remember playing in Cambridge once.
Yeah.
They didn't plow off the field. We played down in the Alewife.
Yeah, Ringefield.
Yeah. Not Ringe. It was called another field at that time.
In the back there, behind the...
where the chemical plant was.
Yeah.
And we played there, and they didn't plow. The city workers didn't plow it.
Yeah.
And I had the kids walk across the field, and they were picking up chunks of ice and carrying them off to the side. And the Cambridge, I'll never forget it, they told us, we're going to have tents for you, because we had played always at Harvard Stadium, and you at least had a place to go inside.
Yeah.
And the Harvard people would plow off the field. They said, no, we're going to have tents for you to go inside at halftime. It was one of those tents you see at the beach. It had no sides. so you're going in there, and the wind's howling through. I said, what the hell good is this? Oh, it was cold. So cold over there. But that's just, you deal with it. You deal with the elements.
Yeah.
It's funny, though. We had a lot of rivalries over the years, like I said.
Yeah, I remember Cambridge wasn't much. You guys used to beat Cambridge pretty good every year, as I remember.
They beat us once.
They did?
They beat us once. 2001. So that was the only time they beat us.
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard the end of it from the sports writer from Cambridge that works for the Globe.
Who is it?
He runs the Legends game.
Oh, Steve Buckley? Yeah. Yeah.
Never heard the end of it. Every time Steve Buckley still sees me to this day.
Yeah.
Cambridge 2001. Cambridge 2001. I said, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Steve, come on.
They don't play anymore, right?
We beat you the other 29 times. You don't remember that? No, Steve Buckley, a good guy. Really good guy. But he still busts them on me.
That's funny. So yeah, I can see that faster game. How about with like I have no idea about this, but I see kids now. When I was in high school and I wanted to play in college, right? You'd get a VHS. I went to the computer repair shop guy near my house, and he cut together on a cassette tape, right? And then you send it. That was how.
No more.
Now there's websites and there's apps. And
those are all money grabs.
Is it? Yeah.
They're all money grabs.
And kids probably think it's important, right?
Yeah, it's important. I tell every parent you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
What they have now is there's a platform called Huddle.
Yeah.
Everybody uses it. You videotape your game. You input it into the Huddle system, and you have all your games on there. Punch up any play, any game, anything like that. It's all interconnected throughout the country.
Yeah.
So all the colleges pay anywhere from $50,000 to almost $100,000 for this platform.
Yeah.
They would punch in your name, any coach,
And
everything comes up immediately.
Yeah.
You don't send, parents still say to me today, you didn't send my son's tape to Notre Dame. I said, number one, there's no tapes. Everything's on the computer. Number two, they have it.
If they want to see it.
Quicker than me, they can see it. My son at Boston College takes his laptop home, and he'll go through 100 prospects in an hour.
Yeah.
He'll just punch in the name, bum, 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 watch it for 30 seconds. He'll know either this or this.
Yeah.
Check it off or X them out.
Yeah.
Another one. It's amazing how many. He'll go through 250 kids in a night. And it's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with their coach.
Yeah.
It's strictly objective by them.
Yeah.
And I can't change that. You're either 6'4" or you're 5'10".
Yeah.
There's no way of lying about it. You know what I'm saying? And parents really don't understand that part, and kids don't.
Yeah.
They'll come to me with a website. This website says, they're going to do my tape, and they're going to do.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
$500.
They already got it.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Yeah.
They get when you sneezed. They don't have to. You don't have to send anything.
They know everything, and I imagine parents, right? There's enthusiasm. That's a large part of the job, right? Is having those conversations.
Toning them down.
Yeah.
Making them realistic.
Yeah.
You have to enlighten them to the facts of life.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not coaches. High school coaches aren't God. We do not determine the genetic makeup of your child.
Yeah.
He's either big and fast or he's small and slow. And I have not, I'm sorry. I say, look at your wife. Don't blame me.
That's right. My one of my really close friends is the head baseball coach at a prep school in New Jersey, in southern New Jersey. They're very, very good. Lots of Division I kids all the time. He took over from a legendary coach, right? Been there for 30, 40 years kind of thing. And he took over and he's like 27. So he's young, he's green. And the first couple of years, the parents, he would call me. He's like, I can't do this. I got to quit. I think because I think when you go to it's a prestigious private school, so
Yes.
there's a whole other wrinkle, right?
Oh, yeah.
When parents are
Because they're
paying
paying.
a ton of money and they're
Oh, yeah.
probably paying donations on top of that, and there's an expectation. And he almost he had enough, I think, and then after a couple seasons, he adopted he had a meeting. He basically got his breaking point, and he had a meeting with just the parents at the start of the season, and he said, just so you know, it's been a couple years. They were already doing pretty well, and he said, my priority is always your son. Any conversation you have with me, I will then the next call I will make will be to your son, and I'll let him know that you called, and I'll let him know what we discussed, and I'll let him know my position on whatever the issue is. And he said he got no calls because it was all about the parents not wanting it to get back to the son, right? And the moment he told parents, you can call me, I'll take any call anytime, I'll talk to you about whatever you want, but I then have to tell your son what we spoke about because that's where my trust is.
Right.
No calls.
No calls.
No calls.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
I tell them in the beginning of the year, similar situation. I say, I will talk to you about your son's academics, what courses he should take.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to you about what schools he should be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to you about any injuries he has, doctors, physical therapy. But one subject is non-negotiable, playing time.
Yeah.
That's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to you about that. You call me up and say, why isn't my kid starting at running back? Or why isn't my kid getting more passes? I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
That's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
We're not going there, But, I have your kid's best interest in heart. I'll help him get into college. I'll help him with his academics. But the other stuff, because every single parent thinks their kid's the best. You can have your best friend for 30 years growing up, and you're 40, you said 38?
Yeah.
38. Somebody you grew up with all your life.
Yeah.
You coach Pee Wee basketball, and you have their kid on your team. You watch how that relationship, it gets very rocky real quick.
I can
That's how every parent is. There's just, it's just the way it is.
And how was... I know your son had a great high school career under you. How that's a whole other thing, right? Because I remember my dad never coached me past Little League, but the fights, all my fault, right? He was being very reasonable, and I was incredibly sensitive, right? Like I just imagine that must be a whole other, then you're navigating. I can see, right?
Battle after battle.
Yeah.
Like I said. You go, again, about parenting. You go as a father, you'll see your children, from the time they can talk and communicate, you're the greatest guy in the world till they turn about 13. You go from the smartest, most perfect person to the biggest dummy when they turn 13, 14, and all they want to do is listen to their friends or what's online or what somebody else is saying. And then they, about 21, 22, the light bulb goes off, and they get out of college. They say, Dad, Ma, you were right.
Yeah.
And they come right back to you. So you got to weather those rocky years.
Yeah.
And, we had rocky years.
I think my light bulb went out for a little bit late.
It happens.
About 30 years old. I said, oh, Jesus, my dad's been right about all this stuff.
No. Believe me, he still loves you.
Yeah. No, it's I can imagine. Cool. I guess I have a couple questions, just things that I'm curious about. I think so. You've won at 3 schools, 12 state titles. Is that am I right?
I coached at 4 schools.
I'm sorry, I guess I'm looking at... Yeah, go ahead, please.
The first school was St. Patrick's of Watertown. We had some good teams, but we didn't win a state championship. We were the smallest school in Massachusetts. We had 43 boys in the school.
That is very...
Since it's closed down. But I was there for 6 years, Weston for 4 years, Everett. I was there 39 years as a teacher in basketball, but 26 football, and then 7 at Catholic Memorial. And we've been fortunate. We've won 16 state titles. 16.
I'm sorry. I'm shortguessing you
I'm
here.
not. Believe me, I'm not boasting. I'm just.
No. I apologize. So I guess my question is, and I will preface it with a story. I once saw someone, ask a movie producer who had produced a lot of movies,
Yep.
which one is your favorite?
Yep.
And he said, I could never tell you because everyone is its own unique thing. And he's won, multiple Academy Awards and whatever it was. And he said, everyone's like my child, right? And you treat it like that.
That's my answer.
Okay.
When the reporters asked me, I said, if I had 16 kids, you'd want me to choose between the 16. They were all uniquely special.
Yeah.
I can think back to the first one, the second one. I could tell you them all.
Yeah.
A very funny story. One of my ex-players, Mike Bagonzi, that name.
Yeah.
He just got named general manager of the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had worked for Kansas City for 16 years, and with Patrick Mahomes, he was the assistant GM, won all these titles. Just got the job with Tennessee, and he got up at his press conference. He recognized 3 people. I can't believe he recognized me. And he said, in 1997, we won the Super Bowl with Coach DiBiaso. It was the first Everett Super Bowl. And I remember it was like yesterday because I handed him the trophy and he was holding it up like the Stanley Cup and everything. But to him, that was like one of the greatest moments. How could I take that away and say that's not special?
Yep. I like that. And then here's the question, and again, I think I know how the answer is going to go, but of all those 16 teams, if they were to join into like a March Madness bracket, right?
Yeah.
Move on. Do you think that there would be? Do you know the team that was the best team? And you don't have to say it, but do you think there is a team?
There was 2.
Yeah.
There was 2
that if they started doing a
they were
tournament,
probably a heads up, a little above the other 2.
Yeah.
And it would be a hell of a game, but I
Yeah.
don't want to say the 2.
You don't have to,
because then I'd have the kids, but they were uniquely special in that one was like more of a wide open offense, the other one was more grinded out offense. So it'd be a great game.
It'd be a good game, yeah.
It would be a great game.
I think, yeah. I knew you weren't going to answer when I asked, but I had to.
No.
And are they both Everett teams? Or we can't say that.
No, they are.
Yeah, they're both Everett teams.
Yeah.
Well, that's.
We were very fortunate over the years. My coaches, myself, my wife, we were blessed. We have had great kids. Yeah. Great kids over the years.
Yeah.
We like to think we have a little part of it, but we've been fortunate.
Yeah. And I think what's so interesting too, right, is that the demographics of Boston and of Everett, of everything's changing, right? And so it's like, I imagine when you started, it was largely Italian and Irish. And then now there's a lot of Haitian people. I mean, we already discussed that kind of, right?
We have Hispanic, Haitian, Brazilian, Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Our demographics changed drastically.
Yeah.
Drastically. And one of the things, like people always say to me, you went from grinded out offense, double wing option to like a wide open spread. Mm-hmm. I said, I didn't have the big chubby Italian linemen anymore. They were all gone. They were up in Linfield and Wakefield and Melrose. So we became much more of a speed team.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a testament to the culture that you have there too, right? Because like a lot of those kids that are coming now, they're not from football families, right? You're probably the first day they play is probably the first day of summer practice, right?
I'm gonna say that there are presently 5 kids in the NFL. Their parents never played football in their lives.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 played soccer, but that was it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have known a football from a basketball, from a baseball.
Yeah.
And they ended up in the NFL.
That's wild, right?
The 2 kids I have out at Notre Dame, their parents didn't know anything about football. One of them was playing soccer at 6'6", and I talked him into playing football. He never played football.
What position?
He's an offensive tackle at Notre Dame.
Wow.
But his parents are from Haiti. The other boy at Notre Dame's parents are from Ghana in Africa, West Africa. They didn't know anything about football. And that's why I laugh, because as you and I were talking about helicopter parents, they're paying for this, they're paying for trainers, they're paying for special this, special that to get their kid. to hear
Yeah.
those two sets of parents, they had no clue. And they both have two kids at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And it's all about, the genetics.
Yep.
They were built, they were strong, they were fast, they were smart, and they were great kids. I mean, it had nothing to do with personal trainers or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. Parents spend a lot of money to get their kids more playing time. Right?
I mean, I tell them all the time, spend it on an academic tutor.
Yeah.
You can get a lot further with that. You're only so big, you're only so fast. I mean,
that's a good point. Are you seeing? I think for a long time, at least from, and you know better than me, but my point of view is that a lot of the best players from Massachusetts in high school they'd go to BC, right? That was kind of the commonplace. Right. Are you seeing? Because I know you've sent some kids to SEC and to the Big Ten. Are you seeing those schools kind of coming here?
They've
more?
opened up.
Yeah,
recruiting in Massachusetts has opened up, and I think it's become more of a. The football here has gotten better because there's better training here, there's more weightlifting here, there's more speed stuff going on here. Before, maybe I'm going back 30 years, kids might have, trained a little bit, but in the winter they might have played basketball or hockey. The spring they played baseball. They took the summer off and went on vacation.
Yeah.
Now we're very similar to what they're doing down south, or California or Texas. Kids are working at it a lot more now. Yeah. They're working at it a lot more, and they're getting, better results.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's encouraging, right? I think.
Oh yeah, they're recruiting this area, heavily now.
Yeah, and I think, like when I was a kid, right? The kids who were really good, they go to BC, they go to UNH, right? UNH used to be like, I always feel like UNH was like a Massachusetts all-star team for a while, right?
Yes, it was.
But like you never really see them on TV, right? But if you're a kid growing up and you're playing football and you see, the kid from the town over is playing Saturday night at 8 p.m. on ESPN or whatever, I think that's positive, right?
Oh,
I think that will inspire more kids to play and stick with it and all that stuff.
They see that they can make it.
Yeah.
If they do the right thing, and they again, a lot determined by what you have as talent, God-given talent.
Right.
Those boys that are in the NFL now, you knew when you first saw them that they were special.
I can only imagine. I didn't play with any NFL players.
No, there was, they're little skinny kids with their nose running, but they, if you're fast, you're fast.
Yeah, right. There's, that's right. You see a kid make one cut, and can't teach that.
That's it. You can't. No, you can't. And that's what I say to people. You got to be able to identify them naturally, but when you see it, you know what you see.
Yeah. Do you? I won't ask best player, but is there someone you've coached and just from an overall athlete perspective, you think this person is just on that level that
the best kid at probably overall, you might remember the name Diamond Ferry.
Yeah, I remember.
Diamond Ferry, what separated him from everybody was he was just as good on offense as he was defense. Mm-hmm. Just as good.
Yeah.
Another boy, Frankie Nuzzo, was very similar. Mm-hmm. But Diamond is the only player in NCAA history to be selected by Sports Illustrated Offensive Player of the Week and Defensive Player of the Week the same week.
Yeah.
He played against Boston College. He was the starting strong safety.
He went to Syracuse?
He went to Syracuse.
Yeah, I remember
that. Starting tailback gets hurt first play.
Yeah.
Second series of down, second string tailback gets hurt. Diamond had been a tailback before he switched over to the defense. He said, Diamond, can you play offense? Yeah. That's how he was. He's very cocky.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can probably do it better than those guys.
Yeah.
He goes in, he rushes for almost 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He picks off 2 passes, returns 1 for a touchdown, and then returned a punt for a touchdown. All in one game. And he cost Boston College $9 million because they were ranked, I think, about 5th or 6th. They were scheduled to go to the Fiesta Bowl. And that was a New Year's Day game. They would have got $9 million. They ended up like at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
And to this day, the BC people, Diamond Ferry, you bring up his name like, you're cursed.
Yeah.
But
I remember.
he was just born to play football.
Yeah.
Born to play football.
He was like late 90s, is that right?
99 team.
Yeah.
99
I remember that
team.
from being... So I was still kind of a little kid, so I'd read the Globe, see people. The name is...
He was...
You're coming back to me now.
When I said he was just born to be a football player, you didn't have to teach him anything. It was just all natural talent. He was sick with the flu the whole week before the Super Bowl. He's in the back of the bus. We're driving over. They used to play at Boston University. Do you remember?
Yeah.
We're driving over the bus. Pull over. They open the back door. Goes up all over the sidewalk. They keep going. Again, pull over. He threw up about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
We're trying to give him Gatorade water. It's nothing staying down. Opening kickoff against New Bedford, he goes 98 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Ran for 4 other touchdowns. 2 of them were called back. He could have had 7.
Yeah. It's like the Jordan flu
And
game.
he was sick as a dog.
Yeah.
You and I would have been in bed.
Yeah.
He's out there running for touchdowns like every play. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
The kid was, like I said, he's just, when you think of football,
Yeah. You think of
I
that.
think of him.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think football is also, it's one of those unique sports, right, where for a guy like that, outside of the line, but you could put him at any skill position on either side, right? You could put him at quarterback, and he'd probably have a great game.
Anywhere you could have put Diamond anywhere. He just had the instincts and toughness.
Yeah.
Like I said, he not only fast, but he was tough, and he was so much confidence in himself.
Yeah.
I remember telling him before the preseason, because they had him the King of Diamonds on the back of the Herald, the preseason by Danny Ventura in the Herald, the King of Diamonds.
Yeah.
I said, when you talk to him, and this was on television because they did a story on it, a documentary, and I'm talking to him with my little son in my lap, and he's like 4 years old. I said, Diamond, when you talk to them, don't you say anything controversial. Nothing controversial. And he says, I won't. He talked real fast. And I said, don't say anything. I get the paper. Oh, I hope we play Brockton. I'll run all over them for 300 yards. I call him to my office, and it's actually on videotape. I say, Diamond, what is this? What? I said, don't say anything controversial. And I quote him, 300 yards. Everybody's going to... You can't always believe what you read in the paper, he said to me. I said, you son of a...
Comedian on top of it,
He was a character. He was a character. I'm telling you. He made us laugh.
I remember. That's so funny. These memories stick in your brain from all these years. I mean, for me, that's a great story.
He
played in the NFL for a little bit, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He played for the Giants, and then he played for the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I remember that.
Danny Green really liked him.
Yeah.
And then he got fired.
Yeah.
Danny Green got fired, and they let him go. He was more of a special team guy. But then he had a long career in Canada. He won a couple of Grey Cups for the Montreal Alouettes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won a couple of Grey Cups up there. He's just a great football player.
Yeah. That's great.
Fun, but what a character! Like I said, what a character.
Oh, I mean, that's. I mean, you remember this all these years later, but what a compliment, right? With all the young men you've coached, and
right.
I think
he told me, he said, I'm going to be better than Omar Easy. Do you remember Omar Easy?
Yeah.
No, Omar Easy was an All-American.
Yeah.
He was in USA Today,
Yeah.
All-American, went to Penn State.
Yeah.
I'm going to be better than him, he said.
Yeah.
He was cocky as a freshman. He said that to me.
You got to be a little cocky, right?
Oh, yeah. And Omar was 6'3", 240 pounds, and he ran track.
Yeah.
I said, this kid's crazy. Yeah, Coke bottle glasses, little freshman, he's telling me that. I'll make you forget about him. I said, oh, this kid's nuts.
Oh, that's great. So, excuse me.
Oh.
So, is there any? I guess here's the thing: is that I have a couple other questions, but your stories are so wonderful. Is there any other stories off the top of your head that we want to share here?
Just like I said, we had so many good things happen down at that field, all those years in Everett and now at CM, that there's just memory after memory. We grew up, my wife and I. I remember picking her up off the ground when we won the first Super Bowl, holding her up like this, and they took a picture of it, and my daughter's tugging on my leg.
Yeah.
My son was down there with me every single day, doing his homework in the locker room, then coming out in the field. When he was 3, I was coaching the Shriners game. So I was supposed to drop him off to my wife. We missed each other. I bring him to Shriners practice. Somebody falls on him and snaps his leg.
Jesus.
3 years old. He snaps his leg. I beat myself up for a month. A month I beat myself up. And I remember because, he came back and played in high school, and we were in the Shriners game, and he played now. And the guy, Bob DeFelice, God rest his soul, he was like the liaison. And he said, I remember him when he broke his leg at 3 years old. And he goes, you grew up big now. And my son goes, yeah, that's my stupid father. He says, but, there's so many good times, so many good memories, Super Bowls, like you said, and everything. I remember him crying at the last game. We both cried when we won the Super Bowl as a senior. But
that's...
It's very emotional. And,
But what a lovely... What an experience, right? I mean, that's an experience that's so wonderful on its own, and you tie your own son into it, right, at quarterback. Like, they make movies about that stuff,
right?
We
took a picture every year. Every year we take a picture down at the field when he started 3 years old. And he always wanted to be the same number I was, number 6. So we bought him a little number 6 jersey. 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, all the way to 18. And I had them all hanging in my office. And everybody say, where's the Super Bowl trophies? Where's, this trophy? That I didn't. Those were the most important things. Because it was like chronological, it mapped out our lives.
Yeah.
And those pictures, like him growing from a little kid, 3 years old, to 18, where he's bigger than me. He's like this, looking down on me. Yeah. And it's really like we had a great life. My daughter, too, my wife. We're blessed, like I said. And one thing I tell people about coaching is you probably vividly remember your senior year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everything that happened and the prom and the basketball games, football games, baseball. You remember vividly. Yeah. My wife and I are so lucky because every year is like another senior year. Yeah. We didn't get out of high school.
I love that.
Every fall, the first day of practice is the first day of practice. Excitement. First day of school, the team picture, Thanksgiving Day, which is like special around here, Super Bowls, basketball games. It just... graduation, the senior prom, it's all, we just live it every year. Yeah. How can you want something better? That's what I tell people.
I love that.
It's
also, I think the interesting thing, and I feel this way about everything in my life, right, is that your point, the Super Bowl trophies, they're great. They're what we set out to get at the end of every year, right? But like the stuff that stays with, it's the people, right? It's the people, right? It's the people that make it wonderful.
Absolutely.
And the trophies are the cherry on top. But because I've done interesting things or cool things from the outside in my life, but I haven't liked the people I've been doing it with. And I don't think about that stuff really ever anymore, right? And then you've done pretty mediocre things with people that you love, and you never forget. You can't exactly top of mind all the time, right?
It leaves an imprint,
right? And so and again, we've talked about I think the championship years, but I'm sure you just have just the best memories of teams that just never got there, right?
I mean,
right?
the group at St. Pat's, like I said, is the tiniest school in Massachusetts. 43 boys. We missed the Super Bowl 2 years in a row by one game. We lost one game. We're 9-1 and 8-1-1. 2 years in a row. I believe the years were 86 and 85. We lost one game. Two of the guys on that team I'm still close with. Real close with. Like, I go out socially with them.
Yeah.
One of them's a state senator with Sal, John Lawn. He's the state senator from Watertown. Another one is a bigwig official, Mark Driscoll. I'm still close with them.
Yeah.
And I had them in the 80s. And I remember them like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I used to give them rides home when we stop at McDonald's. So this isn't about wins. Now, my first year at St. Pat's, we won the very first game I coached on the last play of the game. We threw a Hail Mary pass when we were losing. Two defensive backs from the other team, Hudson Catholic, which you probably never heard of, it's closed down too. It bounced off their helmet 10 yards forward, and one of our kids caught it and ran for a touchdown. Last play of the game. I'm riding back from Hudson Catholic. I think this is the greatest. I'm going to win. Oh, this is easy. You know, it's 1982. We're going to do this, do that. We lost 19 in a row. 19 games in a row. 2 straight years. So the last game of my first year there is Thanksgiving. And we're playing another school, Notre Dame of Fitchburg. We practiced. I scouted them. We lost 8 games in a row. We got to beat them on Thanksgiving. I said, we can block a punt. Their punt was set up a certain way. We practiced it all week. We blocked 2 punts. They picked up both of them and ran them for touchdown. Block punts. They picked up and ran for touchdown. We lost 42-6 or something. I'm sitting, I had an old beat-up Dodge Dart. And I go, the kids all leave, and I go to get in the car. And I realized the manager, this kid, John Lawn, who was in the 8th grade state senator, had my keys.
So he's stuck there.
I have no idea where he lives. I have no idea. There's no cell phones in 1982. I'm sitting there. I'm saying, I cannot believe this is happening. We lost 42-6, 9 games in a row. And I'm sitting in the car. I went to sleep in the car. I rolled down the window and I laid back and I said, this is just, I'm just going to take a nap. About a couple hours later, Pop's banging his flashlight on my window. And he says, what are you doing? You've been drinking? I said, no, officer, I haven't been drinking. We just lost. And somebody took my keys. The manager took the keys and he went home. What's his name? John Lawn. His father's a cop with me. I know where he lives. Come on, I'm going to take you to the house. He took me to the house. I got the keys. My mother, who I lived with, didn't believe me. She said, you went out drinking. It's 6 o'clock at night. No, I lost my keys. So I remember that more than the Super Bowls.
So you started your coaching career 1 in 19?
1 in 19.
Wow.
Only coach.
You dug yourself in a hole, right?
One coach. No assistants.
One coach for the whole team.
One coach.
That is unbelievable.
No assistant coaches.
Even basketball teams get a couple coaches, right?
One coach. They said to me I was the only one that applied for the job. They said, you got the job. I said, great. You're the only one applied.
Oh, my God. That is a great story. It's so funny that you've obviously, I would imagine that those years were formative in a lot of ways, right? You learned a lot about
what I learned. Most importantly, don't run up the score on anybody because people ran the score up on us.
Yeah. I
mean, they beat us 55-0, 60-0, and I said I would never ever do. Yeah. People say, you've won all these games. I said I remember what it's like to lose.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't do it to them. Yeah. I take my starters out.
Yeah.
Get the kids out, let everybody play. What do you get out of beating somebody by that score?
I know.
Let the other team score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right?
That's nice. Yeah. That's a great. I think that's so funny, and I'm sure that in those 2 years you had a couple moments where you're like, what are we doing here? Right?
Oh, believe me, I had attack more than a few moments.
Yeah.
More than a few moments. And the ride from Watertown down to Mass Pike. Oh.
Yeah. But that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Those are the moments, right? If the movie about your life, right? That it's not always about the success, right? It's about the what got you there. And,
The bumps in the road
That's right.
make you who you are.
Yeah,
I tell my kids that today. I told my own kids that. I said, if you had a road that was paved so smooth that you never hit a bump, what would happen as you get later in life and something really does come along?
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to handle adversity. So you learn to handle adversity through the bumps in the road, through your formative years. And that was, believe me, a big bump. A big bump.
That is a bump. I love that story. That is a great story. So I guess in closing here, Coach, you coming off a good season. You're going to keep doing this for a while, right? This is you're showing no signs of slowing down. It's impressive.
No, I had that back surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I went from 5'7" to 5'10" and a half.
Ah, that's pretty
I gained
good.
3 inches in height. So
I need
my
that
wife
surgery,
is
I think.
very happy. And, I, as I said, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Sit home and do crossword puzzles? You only can watch SportsCenter so many times,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a big computer person or anything, so I like what I'm doing, and my wife likes what she's doing. And until we're physically able not to do it, then we're just going to continue it. Keeps you young.
That's right. That's
Keep
right.
you young. I don't look that bad, do I?
No, you look great. You look great. If you hadn't have told me you were coaching in 1982, I wouldn't have believed it.
1982, St. Patrick's, Watertown. You can't find it on the internet already. Look, you can't even find it
Where
on
was
the
it?
internet.
Where was it?
Watertown.
Yeah, where in Watertown was it?
Right off the square. Route 20
yeah.
going to Waltham.
Yeah.
Yeah, Route 20 going to Waltham. 6 rooms. The school had 6 rooms.
So there's like 10 boys a grade, basically, right?
We had, the first year, 43. It was hilarious. We only had 4 boys in the junior class. I don't know how we had a team, but
Yeah.
it grew. It grew.
Yeah.
By the last year, I think they had maybe like 70 kids in the school.
Okay.
And, we had about 40 on the football team. Had pancake breakfasts and everything.
Yeah.
Went to mass
There you go.
before the game. We tried to do the right thing, but the kids were great. Those kids were just as special as the ones in all the Super Bowls at Everett or CM or Weston.
Yeah. Great. Coach,
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
No, this was wonderful.
I appreciate it. If I was too long-winded,
No.
I apologize.
Perfect. We're going to have him come back later. You think of any other stories, you come back anytime.
Oh, no, this was great. And again, you guys are doing a great job. This is a nice thing that you talk about sports like this in a good way.
Yeah, we're
Not
trying to.
No, you're not talking about contracts and all this crap.
Just
It's
why we all like sports in the first place, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. Thank
Cool.
you so much.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't see